We're with Adam Feldman. Adam is a criminal defense attorney in Phoenix, Arizona. He's agreed to answer some questions specifically related to violent crimes. With that said, we're going to go ahead and go into the questions, Adam. First question was, I've been charged with a violent crime, but do not want to list what it is online. Does this require specialized training for defense, or can I hire any attorney?
A violent crime really runs the gambit. There are a lot of different things that are considered a violent crime, from a misdemeanor assault is considered a violent crime all the way to a homicide case, murder in the first degree, second degree, manslaughter. So the question is very general, and since you don't want to list the charge, and I understand that, and protecting your privacy is of utmost importance, I'll give you an answer to the best of my ability. No matter what, you want to know that your attorney does whatever case you do regularly. I handle all violent crimes, from misdemeanor assaults all the way up to homicide cases, murder in the first degree, and anything below that. So kidnapping, assault, sexual assault, anything that is that sounds violent is considered a violent crime. Does the attorney need specialized training? Well, sure. You don't want an attorney who is learning how to do a kidnapping case where your technical prison range is 7 to 21 years in the Arizona Department of Corrections. You don't want him learning about that when this is your son we're talking about, or your brother, or your father, or you. You need to know that the attorney has done these cases before, has had excellent results before, and knows the associated prosecutors who are going to be working on these cases. There are a lot of little nuances with any of these crimes that you want to know about. Certain violent crimes actually have very different sentencing ranges. So you can have a Class 2 felony, which is a very high felony, it's considered a violent crime, and that one might be probation eligible. But you can have another violent crime that is mandatory prison, and if your attorney doesn't know that, he might be pushing you to trial, and this could have horrible consequences for you. Now, just because something has mandatory prison doesn't mean you automatically go to prison. It just means that this is your exposure at trial. So yes, you want your attorney always to have specialized training in that area where you're looking to hire him.
Okay. Next question was, my son is facing some serious jail time for an aggravated assault charge. We do not have a lot of money. Can you still work with us?
The answer is almost always yes. I say almost because I get calls from people a lot of time who say, hey, look, I don't have much money. And I'd say that's the majority of the population. Nobody is really saving up for the day that their son gets arrested. So most people don't have the money lying around. With that said, we have the absolute ability to work with you. We can work out payment plans. People have put payments on credit cards. They'll access loans on their 401k. They'll access loans against their homes. They'll access loans from their employers. And the the biggest thing with that is that often takes time. So I've had clients come to me, or potential clients, saying, look, I don't have much money, and it's going to take me time to get any money. Can you still work with me? And the answer is yes. Now, with all of that said, some people just don't have any ability to really access any money, and they're so desperate to get representation for their loved one. The biggest thing I tell people is you never want to set yourself up for failure when it comes to hiring an attorney. You don't want to take the little money that you have and hire the cheapest attorney out there just thinking, oh, any private attorney is better than a public defender. Truth is that if you really don't have the money to hire the best attorney out there, then you're probably better off going with a public defender. There aren't a lot of private attorneys who are going to say this to you because they want to secure your business, but that's the truth of the matter, is that hiring a private attorney, especially a good one, unfortunately, that's a luxury. You're lucky when a private attorney is willing to work with you like I am and really make those payment arrangements. But ultimately, if you don't have the funds and you can't access them in other ways, don't be scared about the notion of a public defender representing your son.
Okay. Next one is, I'm being charged with kidnapping, but it's my own son, and it's just a misunderstanding. What options do I have?
That's a pretty difficult situation that I've encountered several times over. You know, the mother or the father or girlfriend, whoever it is the quote-unquote victim of the crime, and you don't want this person to get in trouble. And a lot of times, yeah, there's a misunderstanding. Maybe you called the police just to scare this person. You wanted to teach that person a lesson, and all of a sudden they're sitting in jail and they're facing these huge charges, and you're just saying to yourself, oh my goodness, what have I done? There are certain things you can do. You can contact the prosecutor who's assigned to the case. You can contact the victim advocate who's always assigned to a case like this, and you can tell them your story. You can even contact the law enforcement, the police department that came out, and tell them the truth of the matter, which is, look, this is an understanding. I'm not a real victim of kidnapping, and then go into whatever the facts are. The problem is when you do that, you're going to be considered a recanting victim. And if the state despises anything, it's a recanting victim. And what that means is basically on day one, you called the cops and you said, hey, this guy did X, Y, and Z to me, and he kidnapped me. And then on day two, you came to your senses and said, all right, police officer, prosecutor, he didn't really kidnap me. Well, that's going to hurt their case. And for the most part, prosecutors don't like things that hurt their case, and police officers don't like things that hurt their case. So unfortunately, you might be running up against a brick wall when you're trying to tell these people the truth of the matter, that this isn't really kidnapping. It's especially important during those times that you use the assistance of an attorney, that you hire that attorney to make sure that any party that needs to know understands that this didn't happen the way maybe you originally said that it happened. And sometimes that's pretty difficult, but we run into that all the time, and we deal with it, and we deal with it quite successfully.
Okay. Next question, I'm being charged with endangerment, but I don't even understand my charges. I've looked online and I'm still confused. If I call you, can you explain this to me?
Absolutely. That's kind of part of the free consultation that I always offer. You can call me, ask me questions, and say, you know, I just don't understand that. And you're right, actually. Endangerment is one of those catch-all, very unusual counts or charges, because it really encompasses a lot of different conduct. It's this catch-all charge similar to disorderly conduct. What is disorderly conduct? What is endangerment? Well, there's a definition in the statute, but it covers so many different things. Oftentimes, endangerment can be a standard DUI. If you're drinking and driving, that is conduct that's reckless, according to the prosecutor, according to the state. And if that endangers somebody, if that puts them at risk of injury, serious bodily harm, or possible death, just by your drinking and driving, and maybe you were weaving all over the road, you could really get an endangerment count. Or if you're at a party and you pull out your sidearm and you're kind of spinning it around, even if the gun doesn't go off, you could still probably get charged with endangerment for that. So that's what I mean. It's one of those catch-all charges. But give me a call, and I'm more than happy to explain it to you and let you know how I can assist you if need be.
Okay. And the final question we have is, my son is being held on assault with a deadly weapon charge. Is my first step to bail him out or hire an attorney?
That's a tough question. It's a common question that is posed to me. And here's the answer that I really give everybody. It's that you oftentimes need to give up that immediate gratification of saying, let's just take my son out and let's bring him home. Let's post that bond, pay the bail, and let's get him home, and then we'll worry about everything later. That's the immediate gratification, and oftentimes that's the wrong choice. What you want to do is you really want to put that money, if you have it, into the attorney for a couple different reasons. One of the first things I often do in a case is I file a motion to modify the bond. So let's say your son or your loved one is in with a $50,000 bond. Well, you've hired an attorney, and next thing you know, it turns into him being released to pretrial services, so there's no bond at all. Or maybe the bond goes from $50,000 to $5,000. The point is that by hiring an attorney, you've altered your position. Next thing is, well, maybe I can't change the bond, and maybe it's going to stay at that $50,000. Well, sometimes I've had family members actually say to me, leaving my son in jail while you work the case and do everything you can is probably the best thing for him. Perhaps he's dealing with substance abuse issues, or maybe there's a toxic home environment for him upon release where he's going to get in more trouble. Nobody wants a loved one in jail, but sometimes it's best that they stay there. And I know that's kind of hard love, and that's what you have to do. But the number one thing to do when you're posed with those two options is you need to hire the attorney.
Okay, excellent. Well, if you have any questions for Adam, all you have to do is post them in the comments section below. He's agreed to get back with you. Also, you can obviously reach out to him directly. Thank you for your time, Adam.
Thanks so much, Ryan. And really, if anybody has any questions about any of the answers that I've already provided, or if you have separate questions that I haven't answered, just feel free to call me. 602-540-7887. That's my cell phone. So I'm really available weekends, nights, daytime, whenever you need me. And if you don't get me immediately, you can text me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good afternoon.